Hi, my name is Yusin Chang.
And my name is Azra Sunderland.
And welcome to King Read News. Today's report on June 1st, 2022 concerns the population of the students at Issaquah High School in Issaquah, Washington.
Stay tuned to King Read News. Next.
Man, this gold rush is so overrated.
Yeah, we still haven't found what we're searching for.
We've done it!
AP Statistics, the formula sheet, what you've been searching for.
Today on King Read News, Yusin and I will be conducting a study about the topic of beauty. Our focus questions are, how beautiful do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you think others perceive you?
The categories being ugly, moderate, decent, and beautiful.
And finally, to be relevant to this school year, do you think you look better with or without a mask? Yusin and I collected data from Issaquah High School students during their lunchtimes. We used cluster sampling by assigning 2 numbers to each of the tables in the lunchroom, even numbers representing us sampling during A lunch, and the odd numbers representing B lunch.
We took a simple random sample of 7 tables to sample from our TI-84 calculators and then asked all the people at each of the randomly selected tables our focus questions. To make sure that the order of the questions wouldn't affect our responses, we randomized the question order each time we asked the questions.
We have the interviews coming up next on King Read News.
How beautiful do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 10?
10. Bro, you're a straight 7 and 5. Maybe not.
Hey, where's that video going?
6.
We will now be performing a 95% confidence T-interval. Mu is the true mean rating of self-beauty among Issaquah High School students.
Our conditions are random, normality, our sample size of 34 is greater than 30, and independence. Our sample size of 34 is less than 10% of the population of Issaquah High School students.
The mean of our data was 6.97. After performing all calculations, our final T-interval was 6.366 to 7.575. We are 95% confident that the interval from 6.366 to 7.575 captures the true mean rating of self-beauty among Issaquah High School students.
Interesting. Now on to what people think others think of themselves on King Read News after the break. Hey German student, draw me a circular statistical diagram.
Then,
As soon as you can.
Mr. Reed's class, where the jokes are statistically significant.
And we're back to perform a chi-square goodness of fit test on how people think others think of themselves.
how do you think others perceive you? Ugly, moderate, decent, or beautiful?
Moderate.
Our null hypothesis is that the proportions of students who answer beautiful, decent, moderate, and ugly are equal. And our alternative hypothesis is the proportions of students who answer beautiful, decent, ugly, and moderate are not equal.
Our conditions are random, large counts. All expected counts are greater than 5, and our expected counts were 8.5. 10% check. Our sample size of 34 is less than 10% of the population at Issaquah High.
After all calculations, we found our chi-square value is 10. Our p-value is 0.0186 with 3 degrees of freedom. Since our p-value is less than the alpha equals 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. There is convincing evidence that the proportion of students who answer beautiful, decent, moderate, and ugly are not equal.
Ugly and decent both contributed the most to our chi-square value. Ugly was far below our expected value of 8.5 with only 2 responses falling under that category.
In contrast, decent was equally far above our expected value of 8.5 with 15 responses falling in that category. Both ugly and decent contributed about 49.7% to our chi-square statistic each.
Looks like Issaquah High School students chose beauty rankings different than what was expected. Now, let's move on to a hot topic, the masks.
We think it was better with or without a mask on.
Now onto our chi-square test of independence. Our null hypothesis is there is no association between gender and beauty wearing a mask in the students of Issaquah High School. Our alternate hypothesis is there is an association between gender and beauty wearing a mask in the students of Issaquah High School.
Our conditions are random, large counts, all expected counts are greater than 5, And finally, the 10% check. Our sample size of 34 is less than 10% of the population of Issaquah High School students.
After all calculations, we found that our chi-square value is 2.242. Our p-value with 1 degree of freedom is 0.134. Since our p-value is greater than alpha is equal to 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. There is not convincing evidence that there is an association between gender and beauty wearing a mask in the students of Issaquah High School.
Well, who knew? Just so you know, I think everyone is beautiful under that mask.
Today on King Read News, we found out that people approximately consider themselves more attractive than average on the scale.
Yes, and we uncovered some surprising deviations from what we expected. And self-perceived beauty wearing a mask kind of depends on the person, not their gender.
So, Azra, how beautiful do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say I'm a 4. What about you?
No, don't say that.
I wrote it.
What the? Okay. Well, I think Azra's a 10. That's a really hard question. I would say I'm a 3.
Oh my god. And I think you're a 10. Man, looks like we don't fall within the 95% confidence interval for the mean.
After this video, we'll work on our self-confidence.
Good plan. Thank goodness for our lovely personalities.
Well, folks, that's all we have for you today on King Read News. This is Yusin Chang.
And this is Azra Sunderland.
And good night, everyone. Join us next time.
Woo!